my gosh. Woohoo!
Give us
Something's working.
Beauty is.
Hey, man, nice to see you.
Hey, good to see you all.
So you've got Stacy and I who are going to be doing the talking. People can ask questions in the question box like they have been all along. Sterling said he's going to do a demo for us, and I think we had some questions for him too. So Sterling, it's all yours.
All right. Is everybody can see me? Everybody can hear me?
Yep, people sound like they're doing well.
Okay, good. So my name is Sterling TrapKing Davis. TrapKing is my nonprofit. It's based on TNR, that's Trap Neuter Return. For anybody that somehow probably don't already know what TNR is, it's the process where feral or stray cats are captured in a humane trap, taken to a low-cost spay or neuter clinic, spayed, neutered, vaccinated, and then returned back to their colony. And this is to prevent overpopulation and spread disease. I started TrapKing to get more men and the Black community engaged in animal rescue. So I saw it was a big void, and trap queens, cat ladies needed help. So that's why I started my nonprofit. I bought this just in case anybody has questions. Even if you don't have questions, I'm still gonna show you because I've been traveling around a lot with my friend Adam Catman Maya. I don't know if y'all know about Catman. I've been traveling with this guy, spreading the word, and we've been just teaching people, cat cafes anywhere, just teaching people how to set a trap. You know, how easy it is. A lot of people, when I started doing this, they were like, "Man, that's pretty cool how you that thing you created." And I'm like, "What you mean that thing I created? Like, I didn't invent TNR. It's been going on before I was born." So we've been trying to show people that it's not a superhero thing. Everybody can do it.
Yeah, it's something that everybody can do. Like it's we're trying to do these like TNR workshops where we can like kind of bring people together who are like-minded, like crazy cat people. To be in TNR, you have to be a little bit crazy. Like it takes a lot to want to go out and like sit in your car and like set traps and like help feral cats. It's a little crazy, but it's amazing. It's like harnessing crazy for good. But yeah, so we're just trying to like unite cat people, and like if we can do these sort of like meetups, demonstrate how to show traps to people, and help build community in various cities. That's like sort of our plan.
Yeah. So we can. Y'all said somebody. People might have questions. We can go ahead with some questions, and I'll eventually go ahead and still show how this is done.
All right, Stacy, do you mind manning the questions?
Yep.
Oh, I know. We're working on it.
Yeah. Kristen, I've got a feedback issue going on here. So are you getting that at all?
I'm not.
Okay. Can you do the questions?
Oh,
We'll
there's no adjustment happening. Yeah, I don't seem to have any echo. Is it like feedback that you're hearing?
Can they see me doing this now?
All right. So I'm going to be doing the questions, I guess. So if you guys have questions for Sterling, go ahead and put them in the question box, and we'll go ahead and start asking them. I have a question though. I would love to know, since you're in Oakland now, you usually trap in Atlanta. What difference are you seeing in, the TNR and the TNR community and all of that?
Well, the obvious for one is that LA, California is warm, so it's all year round. It's kitten season. In Atlanta, it'll get cold enough to where the weather gets to a point you can't trap. It's actually a kitten season more so, but out here it's kind of crazy because all year round is kitten season. It doesn't stop. It's constantly going. So,
yeah, in the Bay Area, in Oakland, where I'm from, it's like our kitten season can be like February or March and go until like November. So it's like,
wow.
Yeah.
So it's all kitten season all the time.
What's that?
I said it's kitten season all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one major difference. But then because California is so big, it's a lot more people involved too. So I mean, not that it's not in Atlanta because it is, but in California it's like, wow.
And I mean, here in LA, there's the injunction that like makes it to where the city can't talk about TNR at all. Like, so only private rescues like can do TNR. So that's like a huge hurdle that they're dealing with too. It's kind of crazy.
Which I'm gonna help stop stuff like that.
Hey, go for it, man. That's a weird rule for them to have made.
Right.
That
It
you can't
is,
talk
right?
about TNR.
I kind of think that like I think a way to approach it could be to sort of like how Pop Project has, where they make it like it's law that you can't declaw. So it should be law that you spay and neuter your pets, and like the government should support that, like, because in the end, keeping cats off the street means there's not cats in the shelter.
Gotcha. So Kim Freeman would like to know what kind of trap you use.
I mean, this is a true catch trap. So I use all types of them. I have a tomahawk drop trap as well that I use, but this is a true catch trap. This is probably the main trap that I use. Like, and I can go ahead and get to showing too, as if this is the food.
Mm-hmm.
You open this end up, and you would put the food right there. Close that back. I recommend zip tying that part right there too after you can set that and the food is there. But you raise up both these rings to lift the door. There's a balancing lever right there. Bam.
Awesome.
And so when the cat would enter in this way, and they would have, in order to get to the food, they have to step on this lever, which sets the trap. And because the cat is here, they're not there getting banged with the door or anything like that. So the cat isn't getting hurt. It's a humane trap. I go to a lot of HOAs and apartment complexes, and they like, hey, does it hit the cat, beat the cat up? No, it does not. And that's another reason why I probably favor True Catch a little more, even though I do use Have a Heart. A lot of people complain about the smackdown.
Yeah.
How loud it is, and so I go with True Catch.
Yeah, they're a little less jarring.
Yeah. It's already a terrifying experience as is.
I did see that. I think Have a Heart will do like the coded traps now.
Yeah.
So that's like another, like the coded is the thing I like about that trap the most.
Yeah.
Or the codedness.
Interesting. I was gonna say I have a galvanized like Have a Heart trap, and it's rough, man. Like
yeah, I mean, and that's like another piece of the process that we want to like share with people, where it's like it can be a little bit scary, but like if you can like watch videos online of like how to do it, or come into like training seminars and like work the gear. So it's not as scary, because it kind of can be. Like,
yeah. And we try to make it a little fun too, because that's compassion fatigue. Everybody knows compassion fatigue is something real big in what we do in rescue. So try to make it a little fun, and get people more people engaged in it. People that, like you all were saying before in an interview before, get more different people engaged into it. That people, we can talk to each other, but we need to get others involved and engaged. And that's what we're trying to do too.
Oh, I didn't realize you were listening when I was talking about that. I think it's awesome that you guys are out trapping together, and it seems like such a weird thing, but I follow you on Instagram, and I was like, oh, why don't I take friends trapping with me? That's really weird. I haven't thought of that. It's a great idea.
If you see me somewhere and you say I follow you on Instagram, I usually have stickers. That's like, I give you a sticker right now.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So question.
Yeah, making it a fun experience, like
as it should be.
We heard you guys talking earlier about like how the cons and all that sort of stuff are really fun, because trapping can be such a like lone wolf activity. So having these events where like you can go and meet your kin is awesome.
Yeah.
And then met Sterling. Like, I followed him on the internet, and then we were both at Cat Camp this past year. Are you talking about that? It's the first weekend of June.
Yeah.
But that's, yeah, we met there, and
it was like the two puppies in the window of the car. Hey, you.
Yeah. It was bizarre. Meeting him and the folks from the Cat Cave, Chris and Shelley in Chicago. It was just sort of like, oh, like you find your weird, the people who are on your level, and it was just like awesome. And so yeah, now I went out to Atlanta and trapped in October.
Yeah.
You came up after CatCon.
We could trap.
Excellent. That's awesome. The audience definitely has a whole bunch of questions. Somebody wants to know if this is your full-time gig, and if not, how do you balance work and running a nonprofit?
This is all I do. I literally live out of my van to do this. So I travel, I trap, and I educate. But this is literally all I do. I wouldn't be able to afford rent. So
yeah,
full time.
Yeah, and with me, it's been 2 years of what I call the Catman hustle of just like to make money. I do cat sitting. I edit and produce video content for people. Like most of it is all cat stuff. I help out Kitten Lady a lot with her videos for YouTube. Her channel is awesome. And yeah, it's just like
shout out
that. And so yeah, making and selling merch is another way that we can like pay rent and eat peanut butter sandwiches. Real cheese.
So what do you guys use for a resource for your spay neuter? So that's always been an issue that people bring up is like, oh, it's expensive to do TNR, and there's definitely, you know, clinics and everything else. How have you built your connections with different spay neuter feral clinics?
In Oakland, I'm on the board and volunteer for this organization called Feral Change. And we actually have like a grant program through this other organization called ICRA, which is Island Cat Rescue, also based in the East Bay. And they sponsor at least 10, they sponsor a decent amount of our spays a week, which is how we can like, where like, we want to do the work, we can do the work. Like if we just have the money to do the work or to fund the work. It would make it a lot easier. And so that's one way. And I mean, we're constantly trying to come up with fun ways to do fundraising and just like, yeah, like we were saying earlier, just trying to make it fun.
Try to make it fun.
Interesting.
Yeah. With me, with a lot of my spay and neuters and stuff, how I'm paying for my stuff and how I got started as far as a lot of people that I know, I was working in DeKalb County as the community cat coordinator. So I was doing that for like 5 years before I started my own nonprofit. So a lot of people that I knew and connections that I had made in Atlanta was through that. And then after that, it was social media, internet, and me being a little crazy and stuff like paint my nails. Yeah, I don't know, it just got a lot of attention like that. But I still, with my spay and neuter, the way we fund most of the stuff is like merch and donations.
I was gonna say I have the Catman calendar, so I chipped in. So let's see, we've got somebody relocated.
One fundraiser for Community Cats podcast, like for the matching grant, we did the Cat 2 fundraiser.
Cute. All right, so somebody would like to know, I'm reading this verbatim, I have relocated a colony of approximately 40 to different vacant barns with willing owners in a crunch. I have 5 cats remaining and I'm just unable to trap. Do you ever leave any behind when you're relocating? Do you relocate? And how do you trap these last 5? Like, what's your hardest to trap cat and what's your trick to do it?
I try not, of course, everybody probably would agree, relocation is the last result.
It can be really difficult.
Yeah, it can be really difficult, but a barn, I would Yeah,
That's awesome.
that's if you, I mean, having those barns like that, that's a big win to be able to relocate 40 cats. That's awesome, and thanks for what you do. Uh, I've relocated some cats that have been to barns. I've used LinkedIn to relocate cats to barns. I've given them profiles on LinkedIn, like they looking for jobs, and got hired. So I would use that because LinkedIn didn't kick me off. Tinder kicked me off for trying to use like dating to adoptions, but LinkedIn seemingly let me keep doing this. So I would say use LinkedIn. But as far as the last tough cats, yeah, the last one, I would say definitely if you haven't already gone to a drop trap, go to that. If you're not already using Macrule, if you haven't already used KFC, go definitely use those. And I've been using Silver Vine in drop traps. It's like catnip times 10. I got mine from I think Desi and Rue, but it's the Silver Vine under a drop trap is real enticing, even for a cat that's not been hungry, because you have that issue a lot where you can't get people to stop feeding and the cats aren't hungry, so they won't go to the trap. That Silver Vine is something that'll attract them and probably have them just rolling around under that drop trap. So, but I don't recommend using it for a trap like this because they may just roll around outside the front of the door.
We've seen that.
Yeah, and never go in. That actually just happened to me last night. I just did that. So and they were rolling around right here, forgetting the trap. I just gonna love this ground here. So.
They ruined the whole shop.
Yeah, that was my fault. But
that is that's just another thing that you wouldn't, like we were saying, you wouldn't normally use it in something like this, but if you're trying to get a hard to get cat that isn't turned on to food, like that's just another thing to throw at them. Yeah,
and for the drop trap. And I recommend too, I got on my phone a Cat Sounds app where it'll literally because sometimes and you want to at some point you want to go for whatever is going to attract them. So it may help, but I have different apps where it's different cat sounds. And I got another phone where it's just a broke phone where I just use for whatever. I'm sure everybody got a broke phone. But all types of cat sounds, because that might get them too. I'll set that by the trap and just let it go and see if that'll get at them. But try it all, get creative, because I've seen some people to do stuff that I didn't even know about, And that's another fun part about TNR, because you can get, and sometimes you have to get creative as hell.
I had a couple of cats that I was trying to trap, and we used the sound of, it was the mother's kittens making noise, and we caught her the next day. So it was, I think I picked up the digital recorder for like $5 on Amazon or something, and it was brilliant.
It's like using to bait the mom.
Yeah, and it was funny because we've been trying to catch her for like a week, and it was so damn cold. But let's see. Somebody wants to know if you guys have plans to go to Canada at all, and they need some TNR education up there, she says.
In Canada?
Yes.
I went to Meowfest last year. That was fun. Yeah, I don't really know any orgs up there. That would be, I'm down.
I want to.
We're kind of just sort of like how anywhere we go, we want to be able to try to connect people who are interested in TNR. Like it's maybe like we said earlier, it's like this like solo person thing. Like go out with your friend, go out with a buddy for your first few times.
Yeah, don't be like we like the cats. We like the frozen stray cats. We gonna do it in packs. That's great. We gotta get together and do it more. It's not a competition. And
sometimes it's not like a safe thing. Like so, doing it with a friend is like a smart move.
Especially a drop trap.
Oh sure.
Yeah. But I mean, anywhere. Canada, yeah, cool. I've been before, but nothing dealing with any event or nothing like that. But I would love to go. I'd love to go to Canada. It's cat cafes in Colombia I'm trying to go to. Like I want to go, let's go everywhere.
So Liz, I think that's a mandate for you to set up a speaking engagement in Canada. All right. Somebody wants to know if you guys put something on the floor of the trap or if you put something over it or both, and if you have a preference for what that material is.
Oh yeah, if you want to do, like, we usually put newspaper in there. You don't want, I mean, for the reef, for one, not just because they may poop, pee, or whatever in there, but for comfort too. They're just standing on that wire like that. So we usually try to put some paper down there. But I've seen people use pee pads, cardboard, all types of stuff. But we definitely at least put newspaper down there. And once the cat is trapped, of course we do cover it up.
Some cats, I mean, it really depends on the cat. But like, if the cat is freaking out, absolutely cover it up.
Yeah.
Like, it just makes it look to where their world view is like very limited. They feel more contained and like relatively not necessarily safer, but it can calm them down.
After I check for ear tip already to see if they already been spayed and neutered, and then a lot of people don't like me doing this, but I do lift the trap up and look to see if I can see any type of lactate, because if it's a mom, I want to get her back to her kittens.
Mm-hmm. That's actually an interesting question about getting animals back to their whatever. We were talking a little earlier about the percentage of cats that are actually strays rather than feral. And how do you guys handle that? Like, do you kind of assess the behavior? Do you have any thoughts on, like, if you happen to catch somebody's cat and TNR it, like, what's your policy?
Well, I mean, it all depends. Like, sometimes you're catching a stray, and I mean, if you take them to the vet, they'll check and see if they have a chip. And if they have a chip, they'll try to contact the owner. Like, I've had people like owners like who are like, oh, that's unfortunate that you trapped my cat, but like, okay, just bring him back, please. And then I've had people freak out about it, like, and understandably so. It's a traumatic experience, and like, if somebody like took my cat off the street, I'd probably be a little upset. But but it happens, and
I had a kind of sad situation where I trapped somebody's cat, but I didn't, wasn't ear tip, didn't have a collar, but he had been fixed, and he was microchipped, and whoever owned him, I guess, I don't know if they dumped him or not, but they wouldn't respond, so I ended up taking him back to the place that had tipped and chipped him. Fur Kids out of Atlanta, actually. When I brought them back, they were like, "Oh, Charlie," but I don't know. The owners unfortunately, never got back. That was kind of a sad situation, but at least with them being microchipped, I was able to get them back to Fur Kids, and they knew exactly who he was when I brought him in.
Yeah,
excellent.
And then sometimes you meet really friendly cats, and I am on team, like, if it's like, I don't want to be a foster or like run a foster organization. There are people that do that and they do it great, but like the more energy we put into that, the less we put into trapping. So I try to like really have a relationship with the shelter, and if it's a friendly cat, they can go to the shelter and a rescue will pull them from there, or they'll get adopted. Like, OAS's release rate is, I can't think of what the percentage is off the top of my head, but it's pretty high. For the ferals, it's like, yeah, we just have to bring them back. But
it's real important with my nonprofit focusing on the education and assistance of TNR, that that's why I try to work with everybody, because it's, if your TNR nonprofit can become an adoption agency quick, or foster, or bottle babies, or whatever. So I try to really work with everybody, so I can, if I find a cat that's friendly and sweet and sociable, that I can get them adopted out. So, but myself, I try to stick with TNR if I can, because that's a doozy within itself.
That being said, I do have like a cat that I trapped that is sort of, he's mostly friendly now, and he has to have like his left leg amputated, and so I do have a foster right now.
Be the Joseph.
Excellent. Okay. Next question. Do you guys approach spay neuter clinics or veterinarians to get them on board to doing low-cost TNR surgeries? And if you do you have any tips?
I've actually just started thinking about doing that, or figuring out if there's something I can do with what's some way to work with my vet of like, if you can give X spay neuter surgeries a month or something, there's it's really just like paying for it, like, and raising funds for it. That I haven't really tried to go to vets and say like, hey, will you sponsor this or donate these services? It's just going through the normal channels. Like in Oakland, we use Fix Our Ferals, which is in Richmond, and then the Nine Lives Foundation, they have a clinic in Redwood City. And those are the two like lowest cost options for us up there.
But I mean, I've been so on the ground of it. I'm really and all over the place. I'm really just now getting to a point to where I'm communicating to do stuff like that, because everything has literally just been go, you got it, go, 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 go. So I'm really at a point now trying to.
And I mean, really, it's
set some of those relationships up.
And it's as simple as emailing people or like showing up and like talking or trying to talk to someone at your vet office, like while you're there for an appointment. Like you're there and you're spending money and you clearly support their business. Like, would they be interested in doing something with you? It's as simple as asking. It's just remembering to do it.
Yeah.
And
especially if you got a shelter or a clinic that you go to, because that's a lot of my relationships, like Planned Parenthood out of Atlanta. I just go there so much, and then we just start talking, communicating. Everybody up there, and then you build relationships. So especially if they see you up there doing it.
And if you're doing, I feel like at least we've been lucky so far in seeing that, like, if you're out there doing good stuff, like people want to support it. And
but that goes with what we were saying too. Get together, because if everybody just over here and I'm like, I'm trapping over here, don't come near me, leave me alone, I'm doing my thing here. If we like that, then it's harder to make those connections. I think that's probably been my best connection, is that I'm willing to just talk, hug, share, put on some cat ears and do the damn thing. So connect.
The cat ears open a lot of doors, man. Maybe. All right. So there's a lot of questions about funding, because I guess that's the bane of everybody's existence. So somebody wants to know, what's the most creative ways you guys stay funded for the work you do?
Yeah, like I was saying, to match the Community Cats podcast grant, we did a tattoo fundraiser. I think we wound up doing like $2,000 or $3,000 worth of tattoos. And for that, I have an artist that I go to in Oakland, and she's always like, I met her outside of Cat Town before we opened, and like she was carrying a cat bag, and I was wearing a cat t-shirt, and she stopped and was like, hey, are you a part of this? And I was just like, yeah, I'm helping open this. And she was like, this is amazing. And then we just like nerded out and became friends because of cats. Like, just because I was standing on the corner. And then she's done a couple of these fundraisers for us. So it's like, if you have an artist that you have gone to or a shop that you've gone to, that's another just simple ask of like, hey, I have this like rescue I want to raise funds for. Can you do a flash sheet? And so that way it's like, the flash sheets make it to where like the pieces are less than $100, or you could really just work it out with the artist at the shop. But something simple so you can get a lot of people through. Like I think it's like 40 tattoos done on the last one we did. It was awesome.
Wow, that's cool. Just out of, because I don't know if everybody knows, what is Cat Town?
Oh, Cat Town is it's a rescue in Oakland, California. We were the first cat cafe in the country. They're a foster program.
Started
that. And that my friend started Cat Town as the overall organization, and then we partnered to open the cafe. And now it's got this fucking awesome adoption center, or like bonus adoption center with like 12. Yeah, it's an awesome rescue organization. CatTownOakland.org. Look it up.
Excellent. I was gonna say I love the colors you guys have, like the design of the like building itself is amazing.
All the art in there, yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's basically, for those who haven't been there, it's kind of like we envisioned it as like Catzilla. So it's like the Tribune building from downtown Oakland. It's like our downtown cat size, so they're all cat towers, but they're like city buildings and like really awesome graffiti art on the wall. Yeah, it's super fun.
Excellent. Let's see. Mandatory state. I could just be quiet and you can dance. That's fine too. Let's see. I don't know that I completely understand this question, but I guess it kind of makes me think of something else. So the question was, who will enforce mandatory spay-neuter, especially in areas with no animal control? I guess my question then would be, like, how do you work with animal control? And do you do a lot of rural trapping at all, or are you guys mostly in urban areas?
I mean, most of my stuff is urban area. Not saying it's gonna be easy.
Yeah,
or that I have all the answers.
Yeah, I mean, I go somewhere everywhere. I've worked with animal control before in Atlanta. Like I said, I worked for DeKalb County before doing community cat coordinating and stuff like that. So in certain counties, and Clayton too. I've worked with Clayton County. I mean, the main thing for me with working with anybody is my approach is going to be positive all the time. So I'm not pointing a finger. You know, I'm on a mission, and I'm going to see it through as positive as possible. So,
like, hey, here's this problem.
Yeah.
We want to help fix it. Like, how do we fix it? Not like, hey, you caused this problem.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you what you're doing. Right. Like, I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in the solution of it. In Humane Cat Solutions, I'm interested in the solution. So that's usually my approach to it, and it usually works. I'm a pretty positive guy, and then if that don't work, I'm very persistent too. So,
keep knocking.
Yeah, I will.
Let's see, very specific question. When you're using Silvervine in a trap, do you also put in food? Do the smells cancel out each other?
I haven't seen that they cancel. You know what? I'll say this. I would say that the Silvervine
kind of
overpowers the food.
Yeah.
And that's why it's not cool for this.
Because they can smell it.
Yeah, they'll smell it from out here and just get active. So I would say the Silvervine probably cancels out the food for something like this. If you want to use it for, like I said, a drop trap, it wouldn't matter either way. You can put the food or whatever they go to, they still underneath that drop trap. But I would say probably Silvervine may cancel out the food. But depending on what you want to do, or if you have someone that refuses to stop feeding the cat, or if you don't want to attract possums or raccoons or anything else, then you may only want to use the Silvervine, because that's only going to attract the cats. It's not going to attract possums, raccoons, and whatever else.
That is absolutely brilliant. I can't believe I had never thought of that before. I catch a lot of skunks, so.
Oh yeah. Really, I've never had skunks. I've had possums.
Yes, skunks. I haven't had skunks. I've heard some stories.
Yeah.
We need to stop talking about skunks. We just talked about skunks the past couple of days, and I feel like
it's gonna happen.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna be happy.
Let's see. On the Canadian trip front, they said you guys need to check out the Montreal Cat Expo. There's also Meow Fest in Toronto. Apparently, we're all really excited about getting together right now, if that's a thing.
I mean, conventions are all really fun. This last year, I went to like pretty much all of them, and it's like summer camp. Like, you get to go and hang out with, or like Disneyland for cat people. Like, you get to go and hear like crazy cat person flag fly and wear t-shirts and just like be around a lot of like-minded people who are like doing cool stuff in the cat world.
So how do you guys deal with people who maybe aren't like-minded? If you do a lot of trapping in urban areas, like, you know, if we trap in the woods, there's nobody there and nobody's going to yell at you about it. But like, if you're trapping in somebody's yard or, you know, in their building or something, how do you approach people? How do you get them to say yes?
That's my thing. That was a big deal why I started TrapKing, because I feel like there's a void, you know, between the Black community and animal rescue. So my approach to that, what I've been, a lot of urban communities, a lot of people that's, you know, I don't want to have my cat fixed. You know, I want my cat to keep his stuff intact and all of that. Look, macho dudes or just angry people. That's the reason why the approach is different. A lot of times it's going to take patience. It still takes a positive approach, patience, but then just different approaches. Like I said, this is a totally different approach, and a lot of times it's about just trying to see what that community needs and tying that into how cats help that, you know, or how cleaning the area would help that. Because even with, I had a situation in the community where they had so many cats going crazy, they overpopulated, and I'm fixing it, but I'm like, hey, you know, the dumpster over there is crazy. It's they scavenging all over there. You know, if you clean some of that up, and that eventually helped clean up a lot of stuff once they understood that a lot of these cats running around doing what they're doing is because y'all, the area is disgusting. You know, if y'all don't want the cats around like that, running around all in the streets, then clean up the community. And that's what this whole thing is about: cats, community compassion. So tying that into things like that, even with the children, I've had complexes where it can bring the kids out. Kids need to get out and play. People complain about, so many parents complain about the kids just sitting in the house, they on their phone, they're doing this, they're on computers. This is something to help get them out to play and it's positive. So stuff like that, anything to tie it in, make it fun, and you know, a different approach.
Yeah, and I mean, last night we were trapping with Lux Paws, and a neighbor came out and was upset that we put the traps like behind his car, so it's like, and was like afraid we were gonna keep him blocked in, and was like didn't really care about the cats, was just like, we were on his property, sort of. We were in like a driveway, and so we were just like, okay, man, like, please, like, he's like, I'm gonna call the cops, and he didn't speak a ton of English, but luckily the lady that we were helping, she spoke some Spanish. But I think having like, he wanted like a business card. Oh. So like Sterling gave him a business, like went to the car and got him a business card. Something that, and then that got me thinking of like, oh, it would be good to have like just a postcard that says like a brief explanation of what TNR is, like why you're there, and having it in English, Spanish, Cantonese, whatever the language is where you're at, or of the like places that you're trapping, just so it's like easy to educate people, even if you have the language barrier, just so it's sort of like.
I'm gonna get it. I've been saying that too, to get my card in Spanish on the other side or something like that. That's a good idea too. Just different ways to communicate like that. Yeah.
And he was like, I need you out of my driveway. And we're like, all right, fine. And we like set up somewhere else and staged elsewhere. And so
he was good when I gave him a card though. It was like, here's a card. I was just a card.
Yeah, it seems official. Like
yeah. If we get you guys badges, you'll be all set.
I'm clearly like either like. Yeah, I do this enough that I'm like, I'm gonna make a card that says I do this.
They are asking if you guys charge for your expertise. Like, do you do consultations? Do you do any kind of like coaching or anything like that with, you know, to raise money or to just as a service?
Haven't ever really done that before. I mean, this trip, we did an event at Cat Town, where it was a TNR workshop with me and Sterling, and it was a pay what you want. So it was like foldable, anything foldable. It was like $1 to a $100 bill or a check for $1,000, whatever. That donation went to Feral Change, the org that I volunteer with, to fund TNR. So we were like, come through this workshop, donate something. And we also have merch for sale. Like, so if you want to support us that way, that's cool. Yeah. Like, I think we're trying to do things like that around, like, more, like using the cons as like an anchor point. So it's like, we know we can go to that and we'll have our merch booth and we'll be able to make some, like, get some funds. But if we can do these like training seminars, or like tonight we're doing Catman Bingo night at the Cat Cafe Lounge, and the first night sold out in like 24 hours, and we're like, oh, that's weird. And then the second week, like, we can do it another night, and we're just like, this is a fundraiser for Cat Cafe Lounge, but people are into it. That's cool. So hopefully they come and buy the T-shirt.
I know.
That's awesome.
Get a shirt.
We're trying to, like, at least with this round and what level we're at, we feel like doing it to where if we don't have to like pay to be there, we want to make the word happen. Like, we want to like be able to
awesome.
help. Like, if we, but like help us get there. We can't like pay to get there, like because all we do is sell T-shirts and pins and crap. Like doing TNR is not like a super lucrative career move. Like
no, it is not. Let's see. They want to know if you recommend people doing TNR should get preventative rabies shots.
What was that?
Oh, get preventative. Yeah, for sure. Like, I mean, when the first time I got bit, and it wasn't even doing TNR, I hadn't had a rabies shot in a while. Luckily, we knew the cats had been vaccinated. But yeah, I mean, that was through the cafe. If you're doing TNR, I would absolutely. Like, yeah. I don't mess around with whatever, like whatever a doctor says, like a cat can give you. I'm like, okay, I don't want that. I kind of actually would really love to toxoplasmosis test because I want to see what
we've been
level
talking
of
about that.
I'm at.
Yeah, we've been talking about that.
All right. Let's see. They wanted to know what tips you have for trapping cats and not like raccoons and other things. You said the silver vine. Do you have any other tips to keep things that shouldn't be in your trap outside of it?
I mean, that silver vine thing is the deal. I mean, that's the silver vine and probably the Cat Sounds app that I was talking about. You can do a combination of both of those with no food or anything like that.
Using a drop trap, so you just dump or have a ton of food there. So, but then that means having to like man it and like sit there.
Because even if the drop trap within itself, just the string, you sitting there with the string, just the drop trap within itself, you catch what you want to catch. So if a raccoon is in there, but if it's food under there, you'll probably have the raccoon in there just eating all the food up, or the possum. Then the possum will eat the cat food or whatever.
Fill them up and let them go.
Yeah, it'll be done.
Awesome. And somebody just said that they sent us a whole list of cat events, so they want us to forward it on. So we'll do that. And we're coming right up on 6 o'clock. I don't want to keep you guys too long. You've been standing there like champs. So do you guys want to leave us with any parting information?
Fix your cats. Their cats.
And this too, seriously, the whole Cat People Unite thing is real. Like,
if you find the other people who are doing TNR in your area,
and be nice to
get coffee with them.
Yeah.
Like, have a meetup. Like, I do TNR anywhere USA. Yeah. Go to the cat cafe. Like, support your other like local cat businesses.
Yeah, the more we come together and make this a positive thing, the easier it is to reach out and get more people. If we fight amongst each other, it's gonna be harder to bring people in. It's gonna be like, y'all crazy, I can't come over here. Like, we gotta look good, and be good to each other, and then we can bring more people in.
Awesome. Very, very poignant, I think.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you guys so much for doing this tonight. In addition to all the questions you've got in there, there's a lot of love coming your way for all of your ideas and all of the efforts that you guys make. So we really, really appreciate it. And we'll hope to see you at something at some point, maybe in Canada.
All is good cat event somewhere soon.
Perfect. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
All right, everybody, we will be seeing you guys tomorrow morning, bright and early. I think Stacy's having some sound issues, so I don't know if she's going to come on and say anything, but like I said, I heard a peep.
Yeah, I'm popping in. Good night, everybody. We'll see everybody in the morning.
Thanks, guys.